All right, let's jump right in. Today we're talking about something that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction, but it's very, very real. It's called CAR T cell therapy. And what's so incredible is that it's one of the most personalized and, frankly, powerful cancer treatments we've ever come up with. We're not just talking about a new pill or a new kind of chemo. No, this is a living medicine. It's literally made from a patient's own body, engineered to become a cancer hunting machine.
And look, this isn't just me hyping it up. In 2018, the Nobel Prize Committee, the biggest award in science, they recognized the brains behind this whole approach. And their words were powerful. They said it added a completely new pillar for the treatment of cancer. Think about that. For 100 years, we had surgery, radiation, and chemo. That was it. And now, this. This is the fourth pillar. So yeah, we are absolutely talking about a revolution in how we think about medicine.
So what's the big idea behind it all? Well, it boils down to this really simple but profound question. What if we could teach our own immune cells to cure cancer? I mean, instead of all the old ways, cutting it out, poisoning it with chemicals, what if we could just upgrade our body's natural defenses to do the job they were meant to do, but, way, way better? So let's get into how that actually works. Okay, first up, a living drug is born. Now, to really get why this is such a game changer, we have to look back a little bit. CAR T therapy didn't just pop up overnight. It's actually the result of this incredible century-long mission to fight cancer. And believe me, it represents a complete shift in thinking. For like 100 years, the playbook for fighting cancer was pretty straightforward. We had three main tools. You could cut it out with surgery, you could burn it with radiation, or you could poison it with chemotherapy. You notice a pattern there. They're all external attacks, brute force, from the outside in. But immunotherapy, this new fourth pillar, it completely flips the script. It's not about attacking from the outside. It's about empowering our internal defense system to win the battle from within. And the wild thing is, this idea has been brewing for a long, long time. It actually goes all the way back to 1891. A surgeon named William Coley noticed something strange. Some of his cancer patients would get a nasty bacterial infection, and then their tumors would just shrink. He figured something was waking up their immune system. And that kernel of an idea, plus a Nobel Prize-winning discovery in the 90s about how to take the brakes off our immune cells, well, that all led directly to the first CAR T-cell therapy getting FDA approval back in 2017. All right, so that's the history. Now for the really cool part. How do you actually engineer a cancer killer? How do you build this living drug? Well, it all comes down to some seriously brilliant genetic engineering. We're talking about turning a regular old immune cell into a straight-up, precision-guided missile. The secret sauce here is something called the chimeric antigen receptor, or CAR for short. The easiest way to think about it is like this. Scientists basically install a new piece of hardware onto a patient's immune cell, a T cell, and this hardware is like a super advanced GPS and weapons system rolled into one. And that word, chimeric, it's perfect. It comes from the chimera in mythology, a creature made of parts from different animals. That's exactly what this is, a brand new receptor pieced together to do one very specific job, hunt cancer. So let's break down this new piece of hardware. It's got three main parts. First, you've got the GPS. That's the antigen recognition domain. It's programmed to sniff out a very specific marker, a protein that's only on the surface of the cancer cells. Next, you need an anchor to hold this whole thing in place, right? That's the transmembrane domain. It bolts the receptor to the outside of the T cell. And finally, the most important part, the ignition switch. That's the intracellular signaling region. As soon as that GPS locks onto its target, this thing flips the switch and screams one command to the T cell. Go, attack. Okay, so we know what the tech is. Now let's follow the hero of our story, the T cell itself. Think of this as its mission briefing. It's a journey that takes it out of the patient's body, into a high-tech lab for serious upgrade, and then right back into the thick of the fight. And this whole process is just amazing. It's a true journey. Step 1. Collection. They take a patient's blood and filter out their T cells. Step 2. Engineer. These cells get shipped off to a lab where scientists use a virus to give them the new gene, the blueprint to build those CARs we just talked about. Step 3. multiply. You can't send one soldier into battle, right? You need an army. So they grow these newly engineered cells until there are millions, even billions of them. This part can take a few weeks. Step 4, prepare. While that's happening, the patient gets a light round of chemo, not to fight the cancer, but to make space in their body for the new T-cell army. And then, finally, step 5, infusion. The super-powered T-cells are dripped back into the patient's bloodstream, and their mission to hunt and destroy the cancer begins. Okay, so this therapy is obviously incredibly powerful, but with great power comes, well, some pretty significant challenges. So let's look at the real-world breakdown here. The unbelievable promise, the very real peril, and the jaw-dropping price. First, the promise. And honestly, it is breathtaking. We're talking about patients, especially kids who have been through everything. They've run out of options. And then this comes along? I mean, look at these numbers. For children with a certain type of recurring leukemia, CAR-T has put up to 85% of them into complete remission. 85%. And here's the kicker. Because it's a living drug, it sticks around, providing this long-lasting protection. Many of those kids are still cancer-free years later. It's just incredible. But that incredible promise, it comes with a price tag that is just staggering. We're talking about nearly $500,000 for one infusion. And that's just for the drug itself, not all the hospital costs that go with it. Why so much? Well, remember that whole process? Taking out the cells, flying them to a lab, engineering them, growing them. It's a completely custom-made treatment for every single patient. And that makes it one of the most expensive medicines on the planet, which of course creates a huge problem for who can actually get it. And then there's the peril. You see, when you unleash an army of supercharged immune cells, things can get intense. The body can overreact. The most common serious side effect is something called cytokine release syndrome. You can think of it like a hurricane of inflammation inside your body. It can cause crazy high fevers, a dangerous drop in blood pressure. It can be life-threatening. Then there's the neurological stuff. Some patients experience confusion, trouble speaking, even seizures. These things are serious. They require top-notch medical care to manage, and it just goes to show you this is a very high-stakes treatment. So, with these high stakes, amazing results, but also big risks and costs, where does this all go next? Well, the good news is scientists are already hard at work on the next generation of CAR-Ts. The goal is simple: make them safer, make them even more effective, and, get this, make them able to fight a whole lot more than just a few types of cancer. And the number one target, the biggest challenge on the board right now? Solid tumors. We're talking about the cancers that affect most adults. Breast cancer, lung cancer, brain tumors, you name it. They make up about 90% of all adult cancers. And they are a much tougher nut to crack than blood cancers. Why? Because solid tumors build these fortress-like environments around themselves that are really hard for the CAR-T cells to get into and survive. So cracking the code for solid tumors, that is the holy grail right now. But the future horizon here is just, wow. Researchers aren't just sitting around. They're already testing this on brain tumors. They're developing CAR-T-infused gels to put in place after breast cancer surgery. And they're thinking way beyond cancer, too. What about using CAR-T to fight autoimmune diseases like lupus, or even to repair damaged hearts? Plus, they're building smarter CARs that can be programmed to hit multiple targets, not just one. And maybe the biggest deal of all, they're trying to figure out how to engineer the cells inside the body, which could one day slash that insane price tag. The potential is just massive. And all of this leads to one final, huge, mind-bending question. We've shown we can program our immune cells to kill cancer, so what's next? As we get better and better at writing the code for our own immune systems, as you make it safer and more precise, could we get to a point where we can program ourselves to cure anything? Not just cancer, but any disease. I mean, that is the ultimate, incredible promise of this whole revolution.